Sarah, Sarah loves her orchids and fish. Sarah likes her orchids and fish. But today she wants to bring to you fish this swordtail.
Here is my 20-gallon long, which I'm going to be switching everything into a 36-gallon bow front to give them more space. This tank is really gross. It's really nasty. It has green hair algae growing on everything. Originally, I was having a problem with brown hair algae that was like super slimy and gross, but I switched the lighting out and I added a higher light, so the brown hair algae died off and then the green hair algae came, because brown hair algae likes low light, and I blast it with some highlight. This green algae, I don't mind it because it's green, but it's very slimy. It coats your plants and it can choke them out and kill them. So it's not the best thing to have, but I do have animals in here, little fishies that love to eat algae and the microscopic little biofilm that grows in the algae. So this gross tank is actually beneficial for some of my fish, like my neon blue goby and my hellstream loach. Both graze on things that are in the algae. And you can see the hellstream loach over there on the rock. And here we have the swordtails. And the real reason I got swordtails is because they eat the green algae. They graze on it all day long. They don't clean the tank of it, but they do eat it. I feed them these little pellets, which are like a orangey reddish color, the Omega 1 micro pellets. Great food. But their poop is green. Yeah, look at it. It's green. It's as green as the algae. It's as green as the plants. Because these guys literally are eating the algae and it's coming out in their poops. So there's your proof. Swordtails eat algae. She's pregnant and ready to pop soon. You can see she looks really fat. And that orange blob at the back of her belly, those are the babies. And you can actually see the baby's eyes. It's creepy. So, yeah. Where's my finger? That girl right there. Look like behind her belly for that orange blob. Okay. I have a breeding box set up in the back there. How this thing works, it's so awesome. There it is at the top. Here, plug it in. It makes a really annoying sound. But what it does is it uses the bubbles. It's a bubbler, so I've got a little air pump back there sending bubbles up the pipe, which drip water into the holding tank, and then the water comes out over there. It's really awesome. It's like the perfect, best way to keep fry. Any type of fry. So I have that ready to go. And here I am. I'm filling up the tank. I'm using a jar so that the water from the hose doesn't disturb the substrate too much. You can see that the hose water is pouring into the jar and then trickling out of the top. It's a good way to fill your new tank without making too much of a mess. I'm putting everything from the 20-gallon lawn into this tank, just pretty much switching everything over. This is a 36-gallon bow front. Really pretty. I've had it been sitting in my garage. It's time to use it. And here's the tank that I pulled everything from. I drained it down to here, like 50%. I started taking out all the decorations, pulled the plants, then pulled the rocks, then I collected my fish. Once I collected my fish, I started digging up the substrate and putting the substrate into a bucket to put over into the other tank. Because taking your substrate will be taking beneficial bacteria, and that's good. Watch out if you have Hillstream loach. Hillstream loach like to stick onto rocks and not come off. I learned this the hard way the first time I did this, and he fell into the bathtub. This time, he stayed on the rock, and I put him in the bucket with all the other fish and the plants. They're in this bucket, just kind of a holding tank, until they're ready to go into their new home. Now, in this tank, while it was still dry, I arranged my hardscape. So I put the rocks where I wanted them to go. I like having a little level, little kind of hill here. I think that's kind of fun. Adds a little something. Then I created some little rock caves over in the hill. So it's kind of fun. This tank, I'm going to be putting all the veil that was in the old tank into this tank, and I think that's the only plant I'm going to keep in here. Maybe put some moss in too. But for now, I'm just going to have the tall, grassy looking veil as my plant. And it should just keep the tank looking really clean and nice. And this is how I'm filling it. Upstairs, I don't have a connection for my sink, but I do have a big pump. So here in the bathroom, I have a big actual pond pump pumping water into the tank to fill it. Okay, I finished the tank. It took 2 hours, but really the hardest part or the most time-consuming part about switching from one tank to another tank is catching all your damn fish. Especially if you have some tricky fish, like a neon blue goby or sparkling grammies. Those little suckers are very hard to catch. So I caught them all. They're in the tank. Yeah, that's catching your fish, putting them back is definitely the most time-consuming part. But now I have a lot of cleaning up to do. But here are all my fishies, and I hope that veil will grow in nice and tall and look beautiful, and this tank will just be like a jungle. That's my plan. Alright, stay tuned for more.